All right, here we are. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I am here today, as I am every Tuesday, sharing anything and everything that I can think of and more in regards to sacred interiors and your home as a sacred interior. So I'm out and about taking a bike stroll, and it's been so funny actually to think of this series of trainings that I'm starting, covering the science of sacred interiors and the principles around it, because number one, riding my bike is such a good way for me to clear my head, and I really need to do it more often. It's one of the things that I really enjoy. It's very liberating and just freeing to just grab my bike and go. I really like it, but it made me really connect with the first principle of sacred design, which is declutter your home, declutter your mind. So for any of you who might be new to the group, welcome. I am here, like I said, every Tuesday doing a training related to sacred interiors. And if you haven't yet seen my masterclass, The Science of Sacred Interiors, I really suggest that you do. There's an updated version that I uploaded recently as I relaunched the program, and it's part of my signature program, Sacred Interiors Academy, where I help women design their homes from the inside out. And so starting today, I'm going to go through those 5 principles of what it means to have a sacred home and how you get a sacred home. So most of the times people ask me, is it like a spiritual thing? Is it feng shui? What is sacred design mean? And the best answer I can give is exactly what I say all of the time, is it is a home that you design from the inside out. It is a home designed from what is meaningful to you, because what is meaningful to you is not the same that is meaningful to me. And so I love teaching about this because it's an opportunity for women to transform their homes from just chaotic, messy places that stress them out, right? And they're able to transform it. Waiting for a plane here. And they're able to transform their home with this sacred approach into a space of sanctuary, into a space of love and a space of relaxation. The home in its ancient roots is meant to symbolize the womb, right? The womb where we are coming from, where we come from our moms, And so home is a really deep place of retreat, and it's really also meant to be a place where you get to not just feel relaxed and peaceful and tune into what it is that you really want for yourself and for your family and for the world, really, but it's also a place to face the parts of you that might not be so pretty, right? So I often refer to home as you, as in your body, but in this context of sacred interiors, we're really relating to interiors as in both your home and yourself. Okay, so anyone who may not have done the Love Your Home Challenge, I suggest that you go and watch the replay. It's up here on the group, and you can get a sense of what I mean when I mention interiors as in your body, as in yourself, and your home. But for the sake of these trainings, we're going to go into some of the big picture of what it is to have a sacred home, but also some of the practicalities of it. And my goal with that is that with you watching the masterclass and really committing to applying those principles into your life, that you're able to have that sacred home that you deserve and that you are worthy of. Because for so many years of my life, my home was a space of fear. And for so many years of my life, my home was a space of insecurity, and it was a space of just grief, And over the years, as I learned more and more to go within, and as I learned more and more to keep my space clean and to keep my space clear and to keep my space sacred, I realized that my rooms, my environments were giving me the opportunity to go deeper in my life. Were giving me the opportunity to tune into those values that I had. And so instead of coming home to, yell or to be, rude or apathetic or any of those things, I was coming home to be there as a shelter from the outside world. Because let's face it, the world outside is pretty chaotic most of the time, right? There's obviously so much beauty in the world, but there is so much chaos out there too. And so what I have found over the years, through these principles and through these practices is that our homes really can be a space of retreat, and that they really can be a space of clarity, a space of love, and that as a really nice plus, it can look gorgeous and it can feel amazing, and people can be proud of you when they walk into your home, and you can feel proud of yourself when you walk into your home. I was processing this the other day. And, I realized I always, when I was growing up, I always wanted to go to someone else's house. Like when I was a, young teen or whatever, like I always wanted to be somewhere else and not my own house. And I really realized as I was, just pondering upon these things, because that's kind of what I do, I realized that I really want to create a home and design a home where my children feel called to invite their friends. I want to have the house where my kids invite their friends to come over and they can really be themselves there. I want my kids' friends to find my home welcoming, to find it uplifting. I want them to have kind of an experience, if you think of it from that standpoint. Your home has the potential to offer an experience to those who enter it, and to offer an experience to those who also live there. Because like I said before, your space, your home has the capacity to, either uplift you or also bring you down. And so the first principle, as I mentioned before, is declutter your home, declutter your mind. And this is a principle I really, really like, mainly because it's the one that I see people struggle with the most, mainly because it's the one that could solve the most problems in people's houses. So most of the time when I go to see a brand new client, other than that area where they might feel a little shame or they feel like a little nervous that I'm going to judge them for the state of their home, which, is kind of like another kind of topic, because, it's kind of silly that we feel like bad for asking a professional to help us with something that we're not able to do ourselves. I think that's kind of silly. That's kind of like when I clean my house a little bit before my housekeeper comes, kind of a thing. It's silly, I know. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make with this is that most of the times when I walk into their homes, when they're hiring me to help them design, I realize that if only we could declutter the room would feel 1,000 times better. Forget about buying anything new, forget about a new rug, a new sofa, even paint. None of that actually matters at the beginning. Most of the time I'm able to see that through just decluttering their spaces, the room takes on new life. And that is exactly the first process, the first step in the process of sacred interiors, is to declutter your room and to quiet the space, as Nestor Smith would say. To quiet the space, because when you quiet it, new ideas are actually born. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients who I know that just by decluttering their room, they're gonna create a new design on their own, and I don't even need to get paid for that. I'm happy to just offer them that first step, and that's all they might need to know. And that means they're going to take absolutely everything out of the room. They're going to empty the room completely. Curtains are off, artwork is off, big pieces, as many as you can take out of the room, they get out. If there's pieces that they have to keep in because they're just giant, or they know for sure they're gonna have like a bed, then they can keep it. But even the bed gets stripped completely, like no bed sheets, no duvet, nothing. And oftentimes just from that experience, the room takes on new life. And that is also exactly what happens in our minds when we're able to declutter our mind space, right? In our head space. Like I was sharing before with my bike rides, that's part of what I do. I'm able to just ride and clear my head. And so it's really, really important that we understand the benefit of decluttering our spaces and decluttering our mind. So part of that first step that we do that we take in Sacred Interiors Academy is decluttering the mind from a space of understanding that, number one, we have so many attachments to these physical things that don't serve us anymore. Number two, to understand that just because we get rid of things or we donate them or we repurpose them or they just no longer exist in the way that we know them to exist, it doesn't mean that we've forgotten about them. It doesn't mean that we've forgotten about the person who gave us the gift. It doesn't mean that we're disrespecting them. This is a journey of design, and it's a journey of clarity within the self, so that whatever comes out of us, whatever design comes from inside of us, can actually be something we love 100%, like full body love. So that's part of the key of decluttering the mind, is we're able to, just like in our rooms, make space for new ideas to come up. We make space for new ways of being. I have heard so many of my clients share with me how just by decluttering their room and decluttering their space and, moving furniture around, they're able to have more meaningful moments with their children, where maybe it's been weeks since they all just sat down to read a book on the couch or something like that. There's so many stories I hear. There's also stories that I have heard from my clients who, whose kids may have had like rooms full of toys, and through the decluttering process, they realized that their kids were not treating their toys with respect. They were whiny before, they were bored, they didn't even know what to play with. But just with the mere act of decluttering their playrooms and, discarding toys that no longer worked, that no longer were useful, that they didn't appreciate or liked anymore, or that they just simply had outgrown, that alone changed the way these kids play. It changed the way these kids could have more independence and more imaginative play. It's allowed mothers to just, have time for themselves, or to cook dinner in peace, and to just create a sense of home in the home, right? Like, even just that, like how many people actually feel at home in their home. And this is why this work of Sacred Interiors Academy is so profound, and it's so transformative, and it's so beautiful, because not only do you get to have that crystal clear vision of what you want your home to look like, it's an opportunity to really understand what it is that you like, right? All of those Pinterest board images that we're so attracted to, there's a science to that. There's a science to how these things are placed, right? And we definitely get into all of that in Sacred Interiors Academy, right? What is the furniture that we should be choosing? What are the colors? What is the layout that works best for your family's function? That's all part of design. But in this interior design approach of sacredness, and, let me even backtrack for a minute, like to spend some time on the word sacred, right? What does that even mean? And, I remember when I was coming up with a name for my business years ago, I had this dream, and I won't get into the details of the dream for the sake of time, but in this dream, I just saw branches and branches and branches of what sacred meant to me, and how they all essentially were rooted into the home space. And that's where Sacred Interiors was born, because I realized that my designs could not be just pretty fabrics and fancy furniture and $27,000 rugs, which that's another story I had from a client that I bought that rug for And once we finished the design project and, I walked into the home, I realized there was such little sacredness to that space. And I vowed to myself that I would not decorate a space just for the sake of aesthetics again. That I wanted interiors to have meaning and heart and soul to them. And so that's how this was born. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that just the word sacred in itself is, essentially worthy of reverence, worthy of respect. It doesn't have to be a religious, attribute to that word either, which is also a big question I get all the time. But it can mean God. It can mean goddess. It can mean, anything that just takes your breath away in awe and beauty and respect, and it just almost makes you in humility just be able to bow your head down. And to me and to a lot of my clients, what this means is that their home becomes their own temple, that their home becomes their space where they bow their head to themselves, where they honor themselves and their journey as mothers, as women, as lovers, as entrepreneurs, as all the hats that only we women wear, because we just, let's face it, we rock, right? And that's not to put men down at all. We need the men so much. But, it is definitely a time in the world where as women, we need to take reins of what it is that we want. I also can't tell you enough how many women I work with who, have been almost pushed out of their own homes. They've only allowed space for their children or their husbands to do what they want to do, but they've dreamt for years of having their own, arts and crafts room, or their own gym, or their own yoga room, their own meditation room, or whatever it is. They have to almost they fall into this pattern of begging for space for themselves, and they have to hide in closets and bathrooms to meditate or do their thing. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. I've made some really cool meditation altars in closets, and I definitely love my bathroom because I can often hide in there from my children if needed. And I say that with love, when really it's more about going into a time in for myself if I need it. But at any rate, that sacred space is something that really allows women to create a different belief system about themselves, and where they really tune into what it is that they want, right? And from that space, when we look at those Pinterest boards, when we look at those ideas, where we see what it is that sparks joy for us when we see it. And it's really funny because a lot of times when I see my clients' Pinterest boards, what I usually do is I analyze the boards and I start seeing what are elements that I'm seeing in every one of these pictures, and they might not even be aware of it. So if there's 100 pictures and 90 pictures have a blue couch in it, and they might not even ever think that they want a blue couch, or they might be really scared of committing to that blue couch because what if they get tired of it? What if they get bored of it? And my answer is always go with your gut. What is that which makes you super excited about decorating, about seeing that Pinterest picture, right? And when they do, it just never gets old to see how excited they are, to have the courage to say yes to themselves through something that might seem so mundane and so simple, like making a purchase, but sometimes is much deeper than that. I've shared stories of my clients who have gone from tremendous fear of getting out of their home to traveling across the country to see to take retreats or take workshops with me, because they've actually created such a space of sanctuary where they've nourished themselves and cleared their minds, cleared their spirits so much within their homes that they no longer are afraid to go out into the world. There's just so many stories to see what the power of sacred interiors has. And so again, if you haven't yet seen the full Sacred Interiors class, the Science of Sacred Interiors, I encourage you to do so. I'm going to go ahead and post a link in my comments down here so you can see the whole thing. over the next few weeks, I'm going to go into what each of those 5 principles are about. And so this first principle, declutter your home, declutter your mind, is key. And it's the foundation, because if there's no room for anything, not just in your heart and your head and your mind, but in your room, in your home, if there's no room for anything, what are we gonna do? Like, what kind of design are we gonna come up with, right? I see so many people who try to like reorganize their rooms or their spaces, and they're really just shifting the same junk around the space, and they're just putting it in a different corner. It makes no difference, you guys. So take the time to, number one, clear your head and sit down with yourself. Sit down in silence. Why are we so afraid of silence? Like, there's all this contamination in the home all the time. Radio, TV, a million video games beeping. Like, honor yourself and take the first step of quieting your mind down. And from that space, pick one room. What is the one room that bothers you the most? Or maybe the one that bothers you the least because it has the least amount of work. I don't know. Whatever room you pick, commit to it and simply start by quieting it completely. Remove absolutely everything that is in the room and just allow yourself to feel the space and the openness of it without even thinking about any design ideas at all. Let the ideas come to you. And this is what is so beautiful when also we are able to just step out of the way, right? Because when we're so cluttered in our head and we're so cluttered in our space, none of the actions we take actually make a difference. It's like when you think you need more pillows or you need more picture frames, that's a big one, and you just go and get new ones. Maybe they're a different color, maybe they're a different size, maybe they're fancy picture frames. And you bring them in and they still get lost in all the junk that is there. None of them actually shine on with their own beauty. None of them even, make you stop to appreciate the picture that's in it. That's the point of a picture frame. Like, even those simple things, when you decorate with intention, when you decorate with sacredness, that one picture you select for that corner is meaningful to you beyond just having that picture there. It either reminds you of something you're still wanting to feel in your life, or it's reminding you of a quality of someone from the past that has enlightened you, that has inspired you. Whatever the reason is, our homes should be a place that constantly remind us of the beauty within us, and the beauty around us is a mirror of that. And so I'm really excited to start this series with you guys. Next week, we'll go into the second principle. But for the sake of this week, try it out and let us know how you do with that. Let us know how you do with quieting your space and quieting your mind. And again, I encourage you to check out both the replay for the challenge we launched last week, which is called Love Your Home Challenge, and your home as in your body, yourself, and your space. And then go to the Sacred Interiors Academy website that I'm going to put on here soon and check in with those designer principles that have been curated by me, that have been gathered by me to create the Sacred Interiors approach, because I am telling you, it is unique, it is special, and I'm not saying so out of a place of arrogance at all, but the transformation and the magic that I'm seeing people have and bring out of themselves through just, creating sacred space for them and their home is priceless. It's priceless. And so I really do encourage you to do that. And if you're ready, if you watched the masterclass and you're ready to go in, go ahead and book a call. You'll see the link after the masterclass is done, and you can book a design session with me, and we can go into understanding what it is that's keeping you stuck from having that place that you want, from having your sacred home, what it is that you even want, because most people struggle with clarity in terms of style or in terms of function of the space. And then inside Interiors Academy, Sacred Interiors Academy, we go deep into 9 energetic areas within your home that have the potential to awaken within you just through creating that sacred external space. So we decorate with the elements of nature, we decorate with things that have real meaning for you, we decorate with keeping in mind the actual functions of your family, the things that your kids love to do, the things that your husband loves to do, because at the end of the day, you guys, when we do those things that we love, when we do those things that really make us feel excited about our own life, and I'm honestly even getting emotional saying that because I love this so much, and I'm so grateful to the universe and to God and to my life for being able to do what I love. It really is a freaking gift. Yeah, I really like my life. I really love my life. So anyways, that is to say that when more of us are doing that, you know, Yogi Bhajan, the master of Kundalini Yoga, which is part of the tradition that I was trained in, always used to say, be so happy that you make other people happy. Sorry, I got a call. It's not make other people happy as in a codependent kind of state. It's more of when you're so happy, you become magnetic, you become pure light and a source of upliftment for others. And so imagine if everyone within your home was loving their life and loved what they were doing. Imagine just the energy of your home with that scenario. So I hope that this was helpful, you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you're ready to go deep into the 8-week transformational program at Sacred Interiors Academy, where we go right into the depths of your heart and your mind to create that sacred space that you really have been dreaming of, to transform your house from chaos and from stress and from uncohesive to a space of harmony, a space of beauty, a space of peace, and a space where you can able to tune in to who you really are as a woman and what it is that you really want to design your life to be, your home to be, and what it is that you want to share with the world. So tune into all those goodies, and in the meantime, I will see you all next week. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Stephanie and Diana and Barbara and Marilyn and Maria and Angela. I'm so happy that you guys are here, and love to you all. Take care. Sat Nam.